Hi, thanks for tuning in here today. Today we're going to be doing a nice little fun painting. I hope you guys could follow along with me. Let me have them run the colors across the screen that you'll need to paint along with me in the same order I have them on my palette. And let me explain to you what I got up here on my easel. I have my regular 16 by 20 inch canvas, pre-stretched, double primed, and I added a thin layer of the liquid white. Rather than that, it's slick, it's wet, and it's ready to go. We could get started with today's painting. I thought today we could do a nice little sunset. I I don't know exactly what I want. All I know is a nice little sunset would be fun. So let's go ahead. Let's create an orange right off the bat. So just uh, red, yellow, and white, and just mix up until you're satisfied with the color you have. I have this like peach orange color, and we're gonna go ahead and let's tap that into our brush using a good old 2-inch brush. We're gonna come up here and just crisscross. Okay, there we are. Very simple yet effective way to paint in the sky. Just blocking in color. There. Now you can always pile up the paint, and for me that loads it up better because it's more in a pile, and I want the centerpiece to be right there. Okay, that should be fine. Let's go ahead, let's go into Alizarin crimson with that orange still there, and we'll grab a little bit of white just to line it. I want to have it pre-mixed, that way when I put it on the canvas I kind of have an idea of what to expect. So just mixing up until I'm satisfied with it. Okay, have this nice rosy pink. Let's go ahead, let's tap some of that color on here, and we'll just shoom. There we are. There. There we are. Just put as much or as little color as you want. I'm just blocking in right there. Now I have a brush with a little bit of phthalo blue just to make my life easier and not dirty more brushes. We're gonna go straight into phthalo blue and just shoot. There we are. Just a nice little glowing sunset. We're gonna go ahead and just blend it right here, just going back and forth and go side to side, and we'll do the same for this part, side to side, just like that. You have yourself a nice little sky. Now let's go ahead, I'm gonna put for an indication of some water, but water is very reflective, so I want it to look reflective. I don't want it to be all blue. There. There we are. Now, let me pile up this paint, and we're gonna grab a little bit. We're gonna also go into cadmium yellow and a little bit of white, just to try to mix up the yellow we had going on earlier, or the orange, whatever you want to think of it. Doesn't have to be exactly, but the closer that it is, the better. Look, I basically got it spot on. I'm very lucky. There we are. There. And I'm making, if there's water, I'm making it go like at an angle, just in case I want to make it come out, or like this. I know I don't want a full length of water. I just want like a little part. So I'm doing that intentionally, just in case some of you are wondering. There. Just like so. There we are. There. I think that'll do for that. So let's go ahead. Let's have fun with this. I know sometimes I don't get what I want when it comes to paintings. But to me, that's just the way it is. Sometimes you envision a masterpiece and it doesn't come out the first time. Sometimes it takes a little tries. So don't be discouraged. I'm just trying out things, seeing what sticks. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of blue, a little bit of brown. Okay, just add it in. We'll add a little bit of white, a little bit more yellow. There, just mix it up until the desired color you want. And we're gonna go ahead. That's the color we got right now. We're gonna load it up into a 2-inch brush. Just tap both sides of the brush. Make sure it's fully loaded, and here it comes. This is my quick way. I know Bob Ross would teach with the fan brush, but to me, the fan brush takes too long. This 2-inch will do the same exact job and do it quicker. That's why I usually prefer the 2-inch. And just lift up a bit. There we are. There. For distant things, I'll use the 2-inch. There we are. Just a few little reflections down in the water. Let's go ahead. We'll use that same brush. We'll add just a tiny amount, very tiny, of ivory black. And you know what? I need to tone it down a bit more. So we're gonna use a little bit of brown in there. Okay, let's come up here and let's just tap in a little bit of land. There. Maybe our land comes out and goes in and then goes out right there. Shoot, I could really care less about the inside. I should probably care a bit more, but I'm a lazy painter. What can I say? As long as I get the job done, really. Okay. That's nice. I like that. Again, this is very simple, beginner friendly. Now, let's grab our 2-inch, same dirty one, and we're gonna just add in some highlights. Let's come up here and just nice and subtle. I tapped it in with the base color just to make it a bit more subtle. So if we choose to add in more highlights, they'll stand out. There. There we are. Shoo. Pretty easy. All you're doing is tapping. There we are. A little more yellow. A little more cadmium yellow into the color mixture. There we are. Shoo. That's the hardest part, tapping. Having your patience to tap. Let's go ahead. A little bit of cadmium yellow and just tapping back and forth. I just want a few little indications of some highlights that live out in there. There we are. Boom. There. So simple. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. A little more cadmium yellow in there. There. And I'm gonna blend it out with the base color just so it gets a little darker. There we are. There. How does that look? Pretty good, I would say so myself. Let's go ahead and we'll grab a little bit of Van Dyke brown. Let me put this to the side. Van Dyke brown. Cut a roll. And we're gonna come up here and let's decide. Maybe lives here. Maybe a little camper spot for, shoot, what should we name our person? Tony. We'll name them Tony. For our friend Tony. Little camper spot. Gotta create those stories. Maybe right here's the back. There. A little more brown. And maybe just deciding where our cabin would start or end. But I think it should go lower. I really believe that. So there's no problem with that. We'll make it lower. Shoom. Or taller or whatever. However it goes. Boom. It could look messy right now. We'll fix it up in a sec. We'll grab some brown. We'll grab some white with it. Now, let's go ahead. Let's cut a roll of that brown and white. And boop, boop, boop. Right here. Just a few little indications of some logs. that live up in there. This is the last one. Okay. That one got a little too bright for me. We'll put a little dark back in there and nothing ever happened. Now, we'll put some logs that maybe are standing upright. There. Few little indications of some logs. Okay. And we'll add a little more brown to it because it would be in the shadow from the side. Little boop, boop. There. And we'll let some paint break right here. Doop, doop, doop. Shoom. There. A little bit more white. The sun would kiss it over here because it's right there. So, a little lighter color right there. Boom. There it is. Maybe a few little touches right on top. There we are. Now, let me pile up the paint. That way it allows me to have a little more space. And we're gonna grab some ivory black and we'll plop in a nice little door. There. Sometimes you gotta get those weird angles with your hand, but as long as you get to where you're trying to achieve, that's right. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's make it look like a shape of a cabin. Okay. And a few little grassy areas right here. And you can pull a little bit of that brown color too by just going in a little more. There. Okay. Pretty content with that. I'm gonna just fix this part a little bit more. But yeah, I'm satisfied with that. Let's go ahead. Let's go into a little bit of brown and we'll just add in. Oh, it picked up a little black too. Just a few little indications of some fence posts. There. And just a few little highlights. Boop, boop, boop. Need base color before we highlight this. Boom. There we are. And a few little highlights. Very gentle. Just tap and go. Okay. Now, shoot. Sometimes I have an idea and I lose it. We're gonna create a nice little path. A little more brown needed. There we are. Nice little highlight right here. Boom. Okay, now let's go ahead. We'll just bring in a little bit of that brown into our grass. It doesn't really matter. Now, let's go ahead. We gotta add a little bit of dirt for our grass over here. We're just gonna cut in the basic idea. There we are. Little white. More brown in there. Just mix up the color until you're completely satisfied with it. Just because you see me use a certain color doesn't mean you have to use it. Maybe you guys want this painting at night. How would you guys paint this? Would you guys paint this at night scene? Would you do a sunset? Would you what else? Normal with the nice light blue sky. I want you guys to take that spin and be a little creative. You guys are more creative than me. I'm just a young painter that doesn't know what they're doing. But that's the best part. We're gonna mix up the brown and the black, and let's go ahead and shoot. Let's have fun. I've been saying that for a while, but we're really gonna have fun. We're gonna grab some brown and some black. Brown and black. Big pile. We're gonna need a lot of paint for what I'm thinking about doing. Okay. Put that aside. We're gonna grab a 1-inch brush. And we're gonna pull it through that paint and we're gonna wiggle it. Then we're gonna pull through and you should get sort of a sharp edge. We're gonna go ahead right before I do anything and forget, I have to cut in the water lines for the distance. If not, I'm just gonna make my life harder. There. A few little water lines. A few little ripples we see. There we are. Okay. Wiggle the paint. And all we're gonna see is maybe there. It's gonna be a monster tree. Maybe. There we are. Let's go into some ivory black. And all we're gonna do is just tap with the corner of the 1-inch. And we need another branch. Gotta make this a nice strong tree if it's gonna hold up all the leaves, all the foliage. There. There we are. That looks pretty decent to me. We'll grab a little bit of highlight color and we'll just highlight it using our palette knives. Just a little bit. Don't want to overdo. There. Now, let's go with that same 1 inch brush. We're going to go into cadmium yellow. Load it up nice and full of color. Should chisel your brush. And think about where the light would hit. Don't just push paint in. You want to really think about, okay, how would the tree be placed and where would the highlights be? You'll notice how I left some spaces between the base color and the sky. I want to be able to see through the tree, not the whole tree covering it. There. Just by using the corner of the 1 inch, you can do all this. Look at that. Magnificent. Now, we're going to go ahead and grab a little bit of ivory black, a little bit of brown, and pull it one direction. And let's, boom. And just, boom. There we are. Okay, we're going to cadmium yellow. Let's come up here and maybe this one is the yellow bush. There. And maybe over here a bit too. We'll go into our tan orange with a little bit of that pink. It just got mixed up in there. We're gonna go a little bit of Alizarin crimson. Shoom. Go cadmium yellow into that color. Just mixing up random colors. I can't show you guys all the time, but you get the gist. Just mix up colors that you feel you're gonna like and mix it up to your liking. Boom. And paint this in layers. Okay. Few little sticks and twigs, even though since I'm painting on a black canvas you won't see the white scratches. And this spot's looking a bit empty. So we can go ahead and we can just add in a little mini bush. Okay, just a little mini one. Doesn't have to be big and strong like that one. There. We'll come up here and with the corner of the brush really. And over here, like so. Boom, boom, boom. There we are. And last but not least, the final part. Let's go ahead and maybe there lives a rock. There, right there, that rock lives. We're gonna go into that brown and white mixture and just tap on. I need a little more brown in my brush, a little bit more white as well. Let's come up here and hopefully that shows up a bit better. I'm gonna just tap it. Just to create texture and make the painting feel interesting once it's all dried up. There. Same idea, same concept, just with tap marks, just to create a little more intrigue. Now, if you don't like it, you can always smoothen it out. There. Really all up to your choice. You're the decider. Well, we ran out of time, but I think that's to show you how simple paintings can be. It doesn't have to be too complicated. Well, I really hope you enjoy this painting. Try this painting out. If you do, send me a photo. I would love to see what you create. My email will be down in the description if you would like to send me a photo of your creation. And just a little challenge, try to change it to nighttime or morning, or take your own spin to it. I'd like to wish each and every one of you the best of luck, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care, my friends. Goodbye.